Okay, I don't know anything about this guy. I don't know about the audio levels here. Hopefully they're good, but I should be able to fix it in post. I tried watching one of his videos. I tried watching top 10 female video game characters I don't hate. I was surprised. He actually didn't have terrible opinions in that video. There was a number of things I didn't agree with, but ultimately it made for a rather uninteresting video. So I don't know. Maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised because one of my friends told me to check out this guy's stuff to make sure he's not crazy and like I don't know. I was expecting a complete cringe fest. Let's see. What would be a good one? Let's try to pick another one that isn't just like sort of clickbait and where I'm not gonna get juked and come across an actually not terrible opinion. See, the thing is, I don't really care much for The Last of Us stuff. I'm not really decided. Ass Effect, the death of femininity in gaming. I don't know much about Mass Effect except that it's sort of been crap for a long time. Gamers are the most oppressed class in society. Oh no. Let's go with this. Let's go with this.
Day reality of living inside
Let's speed him up because he's got a lot of filler.
This YouTube Jenny algorithm, it really has it out for me, and I don't want to be misconstrued. But even talking about this particular topic, there's a tendency for just automatic censorship to occur. So I'm going to try and stay loosey-goosey here, but let's quickly, let's just address this Fauci-ouchie controversy where we have a lot of people in society that have decided, no, I don't want to take this. I don't want to get pricked with the jab, right? That's what they call it here in the UK. But in my opinion,
okay, just COVID vaccine stuff.
If it even midwits here in the UK, who
has nothing to do with the actual title of the video.
I don't have much faith in our
it's just politics.
They're just a bunch of fucking opportunists. They're a bunch of career politicians, and they don't conserve anything. They just manage the decline of the country in just a slightly less in-your-face manner. Whereas the Labour Party are full-blown Stalinists. So that's the difference. But I want to point out that none of
Canada's like
I
that
think
too.
that almost 2 years after this initial outbreak, the normies would be acting so irrationally, so tyrannical. But the media's made that happen, and it's really enabled, that the middle managers of the world, they're just getting off on this power granted to them by the crisis, societal crisis plus government health mandates, and these mandates are vague enough.
This is how gamers are the most oppressed. I immediately disagree.
This type of person, this control-obsessed personality type, it gives them.
Okay, so he's talking about the vaccine and how you have to get the vaccine, and gamers are the most oppressed class in society, but is he... You need the vaccine to work if you're in health stuff, right? Maybe some other professions, maybe in different countries you need it everywhere. Maybe that's what he's talking about in his country. I don't know if he's from the UK. It sounds like it. I think he said Labour Party. I don't know if that's specifically UK, but yeah, gamers don't typically need the vaccine, we don't really work in lines of duty that would require that. It wasn't a requirement for my job. I work at a movie theater, but yeah, I don't know.
Authority over people like you and me. And in a way, I guess that is the point, right? This is anarcho-tyranny.
And I know people who have had to get the vaccine for work. So I would say, oh my God. Why did I agree to do a video on this guy? I can't talk about this stuff. It's going to trigger everybody. And I don't even care about it very much. I find this stuff so boring. This guy, his presentation's pretty boring. It's like the Leafy is here style. He's talking about boring things and using clickbait and spouting opinions I don't really agree with, but I can kind of see where he's coming from. So let's just get that straight. Let's just get that straight. This is stuff that I don't really care about that much. So before everyone jumps on my case and says I'm like this huge proponent of whatever, I'm just watching a video blind. I'm reacting to it.
Free speech, crackdown on nationalism, anything that doesn't go along with the woke globo homo spiel. Now,
oh my God. Really, every response when I pause the video and I'm going to speak is gonna piss people off. But that brings me back to the JonTron stuff, where I don't think JonTron's a racist. And I won't elaborate further.
This is just a fast
I
track
like
into
JonTron,
dystopia,
but
and they're getting it done by proxy, right? The powers that be have enabled these annoying, anal-retentive midwit class, these people, these normgroids, to oppress us. And it's true what they say, gamers really are the most oppressed class in society, and I can attest to that. Because of...
Now, did he say depressed?
Because of this fucking manufactured debate. It's a debate that's meant to divide and conquer, and it's being fueled by the media.
Depressed or
just like
oppressed?
Every manufactured narrative. And the left was supposed to be aware of this. Here in the UK, we had Blair, and he was very criticized by my generation.
Oh, he is
for
the
being
UK.
a
Okay.
lying piece of shit.
Yeah.
Weapons of mass destruction, right?
Same as
Chomsky
George
was right
W.
there, intellectual powerhouse of the left, massive Zionist. He was sitting there going, yeah, okay, well, this is what the media point. Like once you've just established your distrust, which an 11-year-old could probably figure out after 3 minutes of watching CNN, it's obvious that the media is corrupt. The media are
I don't
stoking
disagree with
flames of
that.
madness when it comes to the normies, right? Who are fed nonstop.
I haven't watched the
And
news in
irrational.
years.
And
it's
I'm
always
talking about
been
recently, but
because
I just
someone
wanna,
else
like,
is
get to the
watching
core of
it
this.
in the same room as me.
If you
And
just
I'm
cut
like
through all the
trapped
noise,
there.
the issue that we're experiencing
Fuck the
is
news.
it is
Don't
one of,
watch
like,
the news.
schizos
Don't
of the
read
world
the
versus
news.
The psychos of the world.
That's how I feel.
The psychos of the world are thriving at the moment under the
Okay,
guise.
here's my opinion with the news. I've seen so many people who sit there for hours each day just watching the news, and then they go around talking to people like me who don't care, who see the news as this net negative that just makes the world depressed, makes it dysfunctional, and they go around repeating all the stuff they heard word for word with zero thought, zero critical thinking. So, yeah, I agree. I hate the news. It's all corrupt. It's all slanted all the time. It's usually has a liberal slant because most of the news stations are liberal. There's like Fox, and I don't really like Fox either. So, yeah, I don't watch any of the news. It's all crap. It's just, yeah. There's no way to be informed these days. You'll just never be informed. You'll just think you're informed, so don't bother. Yeah, people are going to be so pissed with me saying that, but I don't see any benefit to me watching the news. It's not going to make my life better. It's not going to make me a more productive person. It's not going to help me out with doing my art, with doing my writing. It's not going to make me money. It's not going to make everyone in my lives happier. It's not going to make me happier. And everyone's depressed now because they watch the news all the time. So fuck the news. Don't watch the news. That's my opinion. I agree with this guy on that. So,
because of this extra power that they have. It's like Huxley said. It's that to be able to destroy with good conscience, to be able to badly and call your bad behavior righteous indignation. This is the height of psychological luxury, the most delicious of moral treats. And that's absolutely on the money. The immoral normie, right? They are loving the fact that they can just persecute a person in our society scot-free, and it's condoned by the media, by the government, licensed to be a total tyrannical asshole and get away with it, right? That's what they're being offered. And it is morally delicious, isn't it? Just to absolutely ruin something.
I do agree that, like, back in the 90s, things were different, and a lot of people believe that they were worse in a large number of ways. They were. Yeah, I'm not going to say we should bring everything back to the 90s, but nowadays it's like, okay, back in the 90s, it wasn't racist to be race blind, to see everyone as people. Now some people say that's racist. You have to see a black person as a black person, not as a person, which annoys me. Yeah, they keep changing everything, so I don't know. Maybe I'm just ignorant. Maybe I'm old and stubborn. Maybe everyone is. Maybe everyone's just a product of their time. But I don't know. I don't care enough about this stuff to make decent points.
What I see happening all over the place at the moment, and it's bad.
This video can't be interesting.
It truly is, as Trump said, the enemy of the people.
I can't pick out a single video that I can make an interesting video
moment, Russell Brand,
on
he's
this
like
guy's channel.
fucking C-grade celebrity from the UK. I think he tried to transition over to Hollywood at one
Yeah.
point. He was in a couple of, like, rom-coms.
Yeah, Russell Brand
This guy, I've always
sucks.
thought he was a fucking retard. You know, like, who gives a shit what Russell Brand has to say?
He's
Like,
not
his
that
ex-wife is Katy
funny.
Perry, you know? Like, this guy should be a Luciferian fucking reptile with the kind of background and connections this guy has. But recently, he has gone full
Oh,
blown.
I don't
like,
know about
Red
any of
Pill
that.
Russell. You know, he's blogging, he's vlogging about a lot of the stuff that, you know, I'm concerned about, right? The media being totally dishonest, the truth about this fucking psyop that we're going through. You know, he's in there actually investigating, asking questions, and it's amusing to me, and I totally support it and respect him for the redemption arc that I just did not see coming. But, you know, it may be too late. I think that's the thing that Russell hasn't quite caught up with. Perhaps that's a couple of red pills down on the iceberg, right? But he needs to understand that, well, we live in a post-truth society. So the idea of even being inquisitive, the idea that we want to get to the truth of what's happening, that is completely taboo to anyone aligning themselves with...
I guess that's a big problem with me and why I don't connect with this video in particular. I'm not digging for the truth. I'm just sort of ignoring what I see as lies, you know? I'm just sort of cynical, you know? And yeah, I could dig for what is more likely to be the truth, but on a lot of things, I'd often be like, well, I don't know for sure, you know? But, yeah.
with Lobo Homo woke, or whatever this status quo is. They are anti-logos. They fundamentally do not believe in
Logos?
truth. I've mentioned it many times.
Okay.
Now jokes are illegal, laughing is illegal, and, you know, me existing is illegal almost in this country. And normies are the ones that are kind of enforcing the tyranny. I don't know.
I do agree. I think it's dumb that they pulled like 2 episodes of It's Always Sunny. I watched those illegally. Not really much other way to watch them, is there? But yeah, I don't really like the whole censorship of jokes. Recently, you had that Will Smith slapping Chris Rock thing. My roommate doesn't think that's real. Doesn't think that actually happened. But yeah, jokes are jokes. Whatever. You can make whatever tasteless jokes you want. That's my opinion.
I don't know if we've hit piss earth yet, but we're definitely post-clown world. In a post-truth society where...
I will say that you don't have to laugh at a tasteless joke, you know? Someone can make it, and then you can just go, it's not funny to me. But getting straight up offended is a bit much, usually.
The concept of journalism being some kind of method to discern the truth so that ordinary people can know what the fuck is happening in the world, that is the true joke, right? Because journalists just work for the system, right? They
Yeah.
are the way that the narrative is established, and that's all they're good for.
Yeah.
Most of them are weirdo ideologues that think they're engaging in some kind of political praxis by
bear
agitating
died in
the way
one
they do, and they
shot.
don't seem
What?
to have any sense of morality
Oh,
whatsoever.
that's not a
Yet,
bear. That's a monster.
cut through the noise,
What
get
the
back to
heck?
the schizos versus psychos, the eternal culture war. If you get back to that level itself, right? I have eyes and I have to see and I have ears to hear. And I'm not going to let this concept of everything is anything, everything's white males. You know, that's what foul logocentrism means. The argument is just a tool of oppression used by white males. You know, that's what foul logocentrism means, right? So how am I even supposed to engage in any kind of constructive dialogue with people that are this extreme in their worldview to the point where they deny reality, right? So the answer is you can't argue with them, and it's what Bezmenov was saying, that they will believe what they believe and continue to double down until, you know, they're being actually sent to the gulag. In fact, they'll get to the gulag and they'll be like, yeah, well, at least I'm not one of those Trump supporters, am I right? Yeah, fuck the Nazis. Meanwhile, the post-truth state that you helped establish is just persecuting you and murdering you and raping you. Like, you know, we're here because we,
Yeah.
as an entire society, have lost all perspective. We've lived immoral and atheist bugman lives for so long that we are blind
Oh. Oh no.
now to things that should just be obvious, you know? Like, you know that doing something to help your family is a good thing as a man. And yet we're
Okay, I think we've come to a thing I largely disagree with. This didn't come up in his, like, other video I watched or earlier in this video, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm one of those people, so...
we're living in a time where philosophically they're telling us that no, that's like some kind of fascist type mindset that you need to do something about. It's problematic because we should be not having children because of the environment, and we should also be gay too, you know. So we just have to engage in any kind of
What is he saying? Is this like one of those conspiracies where you can turn people gay with, like, the power of suggestion? I don't know. I've never really understood that, because it's sort of just like you are or you aren't, right? Most people I know don't go like, yeah, there's a chance I could be swayed. I mean, really swayed, not just, do it for the right amount of money, but like actually go full Family Guy Peter Gagine episode. But yeah, I don't really buy that. I've never really bought that.
Kind of lifestyle that is totally just materialistic. That's encouraged. But me just being like, I'd like
Yeah,
to live
I
somewhere
agree
safe
with
where I
that.
can raise
Materialism
kids and
sucks.
and you can just leave me alone. That's enough to make me some kind of like radical extremist.
I
which is
don't
laughable,
think
right?
it
The only
is.
reason
I don't think that makes you a radical extremist. People have kids all the time. It's normal. I think it's only the really extreme radical people who will say you can't have kids at all. It's like, what, the Chinese government? Am I allowed to say that?
reason that we've gotten to this point is because good people have not been speaking up enough. But good people are busy. They have families. They don't have the time to autistically delve into 20th century political philosophy just to understand that this entire system, that it's making everyone miserable, right? That it doesn't really have any moral justification behind it because it's being run by secular atheist bugmen who believe in some really weird 20th century ideas that are fundamentally like, it's just a psycho worldview where, everything is inverted. Up is down, down is up. Satan is Christ, the fool is the king, the jester becomes the prophet.
See, this this is another spot where it's just like, oh, I feel like my brain's melting because we're getting into religious differences. I'm assuming this guy is like a Christian. I'm assuming he's like Catholic or Protestant. And he's really harping on the atheism thing and equating atheism to be immoral. And I found a lot of Christians, they can't really think in a certain way. Everything is with the Christian slant, A Christian can't really understand how an atheist thinks. So they can't have any morality to them. They're all pure evil, is often what I get as an idea from their YouTube videos that I come across.
As Terry Davis might have put it, but, there is no such thing as good.
I consider myself agnostic, by the way. I don't go around bashing people who are Christian. And there's a lot of good ones, but there's the squeaky wheels who go on YouTube and they bitch about the horrors of atheism, even though they've had like 2 bad experiences with atheists in their whole lives.
Good. There's no such thing as evil, right? It's just do as thou wilt. It is like the definition of Satanism, right? The worship of the self, the worship of the material, the denial of something that you could either call truth or you could call God, but definitely exists and is important to a large portion of people in the world. And those people are being oppressed, and they have been being oppressed for quite a while.
One of the things is they seem to believe that everyone believes in something, right? We've gone on this weird tangent because this video is not like about one thing. It keeps branching off into all sorts of things. Now we're talking about religion. That's sort of the thing, is they can't grasp the idea that you aren't clinging on to one set of beliefs. They're like, oh, you don't believe in God, so you believe in the Big Bang Theory. And it's like, well, that's a theory that could potentially be true. God could potentially be true as well, because I'm agnostic, I don't think it's likely, but it is a possibility, I don't think that, there's any experience, any natural experience that would sway me to Christianity. I think I'd always have some real world thing to explain that peculiar happening. Like, oh, that was a coincidence. Whereas a Christian would be like, oh, that's a miracle. That's an answer to my prayers. I'd be like, oh, okay, well, we flipped a coin and we got it right this time. So.
But it's getting ridiculous, and it's like, no. I don't trust the mainstream Koof narrative. I'm not going to get the Fauci-Ouchie.
Koof?
Surely, I mean, in a rational world, people's personal
What's
health
Koof?
decisions shouldn't factor into being able to go to work, being able to participate in society.
I agree.
Especially when
I
something as
agree.
absurd as the unjibby-jabbed being a threat to the jib jab.
I
right?
do
mean,
agree.
surely someone who hasn't been jibby jabbed is the one at risk.
In Canada here, they've been really pushy with the vaccine, a lot more so than the States. I don't agree with what they've been doing with it. And yeah, a lot of my friends are actually anti-vax, and they're vaccinated because they had to get it for their job. I don't think legally they could have been forced to get it, but practically they were. One of them isn't my friend anymore, so, but I won't go into that right now. This video is already overlong.
Manufactured narrative is so very conveniently dubbed the non-jibby jab the new Trump supporters, right? They're the new deplorable class in society that you can just, it is delicious. You know, it's a delicious, righteous indignation to torture and persecute certain members of society. But things are becoming very unstable because the funny thing is you can make laws that dictate we all have to accept this post-truth nonsense, right? But just disregarding and criminalizing the truth doesn't make it not there. It does, you know, that's the funniest thing.
COVID has been annoying me. I have come across COVID like conspiracies that turned out to be true. They're not conspiracies at all. You can just see videos of these politicians side by side, no masks. That stuff pisses me off because they're saying, oh, it's not political theater, but they're clearly not scared of COVID. They're talking, they're blabbing. No masks. The cameras come on. The cameras they can see come on. They put their masks on. They take them off right after. That stuff happens all the time. So, yeah, that's BS. I don't like the politicians. They're full of crap. And the news is full of crap. So, yeah, I don't trust anyone. I'm very cynical.
It's that this system can't function, and none of our subcultures can function. Everything is ruined because of these ideas that are so intrusive and demoralizing to anyone who valued liberty in the West. Anyone who's not a boomer who's just asleep at the wheel, right? Any millennial that lived through 9/11 and was paying attention to the neocons, you know, and they're like, that's bullshit, we called it out. Back then, that was part of some kind of counterculture, but now, obviously, we're not allowed counterculture, right? We've been denied counterculture because this is North Korea. You do not speak out against the glorious Juche regime. That's how fragile this woke system is. Are obviously feeling quite uncomfortable at the moment. Turned into psychopath tyrants. You know, post-clown world here where, you know, the clowns are turning into demons, right? So that's where we're at now, right? Because obviously, you know, I pointed the psychos out. They're the ones who are the real die-hard agents of the system. They're like the Agent Smiths. They can transmute on stage. This go mad because finding the truth in this chaotic world is extremely difficult. To point out and deny evil, just the freedom to say no, this is...
Okay, that's all the content that was in the video. He does this thing where he just sort of cracks jokes and blithers on for the last 2 minutes of the video. Pretty common stuff. This video just wasn't for me. I don't think I can react to any videos this guy ever makes and make them even somewhat engaging at all. At a glance, they look like they're ripe for comedic material, but his stuff is just like so dry and it's so like narrow. Like you just have to go, yeah, because it's just sort of preaching to the choir type stuff. I don't think anyone who's like super liberal will ever see one of these videos and be convinced that he's right. There were a large number of things I disagreed with in the 2 videos I watched. The first one was so boring I didn't even complete that video. But yeah, I don't know, I think it's the whole Christian angle, because he really leans into that in that second video. It wasn't obvious in the first one, but now it's very obvious that he has very strong opinions for families, for you know, I don't want to overstate things and misrepresent him, but you know, yeah, I don't really agree with that stuff. I don't really think it's wrong or immoral to not be religious. Yeah, it's probably natural to be spiritual and religious. That's probably human nature, but I'm not. I never have been. That's probably abnormal, but I don't think it's morally wrong. So yeah, it was like a woke culture video, but it like anti-woke video, but it turned into just a religious debate by the end. So I don't know. There were obviously a large number of things I did agree with to some extent. Everything he said, every point he brought up seemed to like connect with me somewhat, but disconnect in some other way. So, and I'm not really interested in the subject matter in the first place, so it was hard for me to engage with it. That's a me thing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, friend who recommended this to me. I don't think I can watch another one of this guy's videos. I just found it so boring. The structure wasn't like amazing. He's not ticking me off like who ticks me off? No BS, no bullshit. He's like a more nuanced no bullshit, but the production quality is much lower. I think I respect this guy a lot more than no bullshit, but I don't know, it's kind of a red flag. He kind of seems like he could just go full no BS. He could just be another no BS. I'm not gonna subscribe to this guy and watch his content. I don't see any positivity coming out of it. Honestly, I'm almost thinking I shouldn't even make this video either, because I don't see anyone watching this and getting anything positive out of it. I don't see it making people's lives better. I mean, I did spout some of my opinions, but they weren't really well formed. I wasn't really interested in talking about the things I did talk about in the first place. So, I'm sorry that this video sucks. Let this stand as one of the many reasons I shouldn't keep making this sort of YouTube content. That seems really sad to say. 2 years of doing this sort of YouTube content, I think. And I'm just done. I don't think I can do other videos where I talk about like no BS or this guy. Even though I said I was going to do like 5 videos on no BS, I did the one and I was just done. I was just like, no, I'd be better off doing things I enjoy doing instead of complaining about dumb YouTube videos. And these videos weren't really dumb. They were just very sort of casual. Maybe if he went into it a bit more professionally, like a video essay, I'd find some stuff more objectionable. Maybe if I didn't go in it like just blindly reacting, I'd be able to critique a video better. I wouldn't have made the video in the first place though. I would have watched the video, got to writing my points down, and then been like, why am I bothering? This isn't really interesting. This isn't really as offensive to me as it was to my friend. Yeah, that's just my opinion though. My harmful opinion. I don't know why I said that. I'm not harmful opinions. And hopefully I can draw an avatar and do moist critical type stuff instead of this no BS stuff, because I'm just sick of doing this YouTube stuff. I'm sick of doing these sorts of videos. They suck. They suck, and I don't know why you're still watching this. You just love to hear my voice, even when I'm saying stuff that isn't worth saying. Even when I'm spewing nonsense for 29 minutes and 5 seconds. But anyway, I'll go back to making more entertaining videos whenever I do. I'm not really big on YouTube anymore. I'm not really into it so much, but there's always a chance I can come back to it and, yeah, put out videos that are easier to produce and are more interesting. This isn't one of them. Screw this video. This video sucks. Maybe that will just be the title of the video. Yeah, boring stuff. I'll see you all later. Hopefully you got some insight as to why my YouTube channel just sucks now, is just not really active, why I've shifted the content significantly, and why I'm not coming back to doing these political news type videos. Hopefully. Never say never again. Sean Connery.